Welcome new employees of the Grindavik call centre. Now with the summer transfer window now open in Europe, we are expecting a lot of calls of inquiry and bids about a number of our players. And your job when a call comes in is to reject the bid. And, get creative with it. Have some fun, and don't be afraid to insult the caller as well. Hi guys, I'm Aussie and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream. Today we start Champions League qualifying. The first tie we have is against Tallinn of the Flora Tallinn of Estonia. Assuming the first leg is a comfortable win, we'll then show the first leg of the next round, and we don't know who that is against as of yet. Now, as you've just seen, the transfer window in Europe is back open. It's open for us as well. It's July 9th, and we haven't had as many bids in terms of the number of players that are getting bidded on, but we have had a lot of bids on these fewer players perhaps. Parisi's been popular. Immonen is getting to the point where he's annoying me we might just let him go. The Saudis have turned their attention to Gary Turpinson, and ultimately I don't want to let anybody go. Now we have signed a couple of players and also actually just let someone go straight back out on loan. Now, the man that we have signed and gone back out on loan is Balderson from Grindavik. Now, this is part of our Icelandic football development scheme where we have paid $500,000 for him because he was going to leave to go elsewhere for much less than that. So we've given Grindavik $500,000 and then I offered him out on loan because we don't really have a use for him. He isn't bad. I mean, technically he's quite a good defender, but we don't necessarily have a need for him. So I offered him back out on loan. Grindavik came in, so they get $500,000, and I think we're paying his wages as well. So yeah, it's you're welcome, Grindavik and Icelandic football. This is our charity act for the season, and we have signed another player as well to come in February 22nd. Now, he is currently with us on trial because his contract had expired. It's a promising Turkish defender, Salim Payden, and for a 17-year-old, there's a lot to like about him. Now, whether or not as an unambitious personality he is going to actually develop and be the player he could be, I guess time will tell. But he should become a club-trained player. And like I say, it's these base defensive stats. I don't know why Sivasspor have let him go, to be honest, because I would have moved heaven and earth if I was had him coming through my academy to make sure he was staying. So yeah, a promising centre-back. Will hopefully get a good player out of him. He has played over 50 times in the Turkish Super League. So, I mean, he hasn't played particularly well, but he's still played, which is either says something about him or about the club, perhaps. But either way, I think he could do very well for us when he gets here in February. Now, with so many bids coming in, it can affect team cohesion. Club atmosphere is dropped down to good, which isn't ideal. But you can see here, there's a lot of players that are unhappy. Only two, Immonen and Allmarkson, that are asking to leave. They both want to join the same club. We're not letting them go, and hopefully they'll come around at some point. I don't know when the Saudis are going to give up. I just take a hint, boys. We're not going to sell to you. But yeah, anyway, that is that. We should be able to get the club atmosphere going again once we start winning some games in Europe. That should all come together, hopefully. Now, speaking of winning games, we did have some games in the league we have to catch you up on. The first one of those was against Grota. We took the lead through Higuain. Bakali and Higuain combined for a Gadini tap-in. Before Mashalek picked out Gadini's run to make it 3-0. And Bakali played in Gadini in first half stoppage time for his hat-trick. Oh, that Bakali-Gadini combination is just magic, isn't it? Really good performance from us. They were down to 10 men. It was a horrid tackle that got the straight red. So they were down to 10 men for most of the game. And to be honest, we probably should have scored more. But first half, we absolutely dominated them. And second half was a little bit of a demonstration on how to miss them in the back of the net, basically. Next up, it was Folsna in the league. Higuain gave us a first half lead. So this was a 90-minute demonstration of how not to find the back of the net. It was a very good defensive performance from us, but 26 goals, 10 on target, and, well, you saw the goal, a bit of a scrappy one from a corner. So, yeah, we obviously needed to do a little bit of work in front of goal, which we've done, and we faced Fram, who, of course, got off to a really good start in the league, didn't they? So let's see how we did against them. We fell behind in the second half before a first Grindavik goal for Toure pulled us level. So another one of these games where we just couldn't find the back of the net. Well, we did find it. Sig Trigson played up front in this one, and unfortunately for him, he got ruled offside. But again, you can see from the XG tracker, we absolutely dominated the game. And to be honest, when they scored, I fully expected it to finish 1-0 to them. So the fact we got back level quickly was a good thing. But yeah, not our greatest game and not our greatest warm-up for the game we're about to face in Europe. Now, we have loaned out a couple of players as well, sort of within the league. Sig Trigson is one of them. He has gone off to KR on loan for the end of the season. I've given up on him as a Grindavik player, even though he is an academy player. So we'll try and loan him out, and if we can just give him away to someone in Iceland for free, then that's fine. He's not good enough for us, basically. So he's gone out on loan. The other player who's gone out on loan is this guy. Unison, we've sent him out to Fram, actually, and I mean, he's a very good centre-back. I just think he's going to benefit at 17 from playing the second half of the year, and Fram are a decent team who might even be in Europe this year, I think. So he'll do well to get that experience, I think, and then come back to us. He's going to be a Grindavik player for a long time. So yeah, this will probably be his only spell out on loan, I would hope anyway. So if we have a look at the league table, even with the drop points, it's still relatively comfortable. 5 points clear of FH. Folsno is there, as is Fram. And yeah, IA is right there. Well, you can see for yourself, it's very close. And then there's the bottom three, KR, Grotta, and IBV that have sort of been cut adrift. You'd say even at this point, it's looking though it's going to be two of those three that go down. But that's all domestic matters. Today we are all about Champions League qualifying. So let's see what we're doing here in this first leg against Tallinn. And this is what we're expecting from them, a 4-2-3-1, though in truth, we don't really know exactly what we're going to get. So we've got Rafferson in goal, we've got Depe, Parisi, Mosquera, and Jones, who I think are our first choice back four in Europe. A little bit of extra pace, and when Immonen plays there, who's having a bit of a sulk anyway, so we're not gonna worry about him right now. It's going to be Antonio, Jonsson, and Bakali in midfield. Iskala, Higuain, and Baltinson back from his injury is going to start up top. Now he's not match sharp. We do have the extended bench with Europe, of course, so Gadini and Nellam are both there if we need to call upon them. But yeah, we've got a very, very strong bench as well. All right, so we can see the team sheets there. Jimmy Smith, I'm going to guess he's not Estonian. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, there are a couple of guys that aren't sort of grayed out players, but yeah, it should be fine. Let's put on a bit of a show here. We need to find the back of the net on a regular basis to do that, I would imagine. Now, a couple of things to catch you up on as well. Yeah, so what happened is that obviously we had a couple of players away at the Euro under-20s, under-21s I think it actually is, and that obviously is going on, and it's a little bit off-putting because it's obviously a summer tournament, but we're in season. But both Diana, who was there with France, and Depe, who was there with Germany, made the team of the tournament. So that was absolutely brilliant. Two Grindavik players in the under-21 Euro team of the tournament. I think that just goes to show how much progress that we're making, because that's incredible. And Depe has become a club-trained player for European purposes. I think he will become a club-trained player for the league within the next month or so. So that's obviously good because we don't have to register Depe now. He's a sort of a bit of a freebie. It's all going to be a penalty. Well, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, if it was a push or a handball, but Baltinson stands over it. He's not match sharp, but what better way to get some sharpness back than from 18 yards? Oh, never in doubt. Neil Baltinson sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, gets his 15th of the season, and we're on the way in Champions League football in the 5th minute, which is obviously very, very good. Yeah, so when I was registering the European squad, we have 21 players. I mean, everybody's registered. Some of them are sort of auto-registered being under 21, but everybody is eligible, I should say, maybe not. Everybody's eligible. We've actually had to register 21 players, so we do have a little bit of room if we want to bring somebody else in. Oh, Parisi! He gets a beautiful header in the back post there. That is 2-0. And I think this is going to be a non-event for the second leg, isn't it? Which is exciting. It means we can go and see who we've got up next. And I do think, obviously, last season we saw it was a little bit problematic, perhaps, with sort of dominating the first leg and then having a bit of a non-event for the second leg. My sort of way around that this year is to try and we'll show, as I said, just show the first leg, and then if the second leg is going to be close, we can do that. And if not, Odepe has done brilliantly, gets the cross in. Not the greatest cross. Iskala has kept it alive for us. But here come the Estonians the other way. Now, Deanna, of course, isn't playing in this one, despite being a very good player. The reason for that is I'm expecting us to be fairly dominant against this team, so I'd rather have the creativeness of Antonio in that deep lying playing role ahead in front of the back four. There's a cracking pass for Baltinson round the goalkeeper, and that's 16th of the season. He is just very, very good, match sharp or not. You hate to see him when he is sharp, wouldn't you? Wonderful, wonderful stuff. But yeah, I think when we play better teams, we will then sacrifice Antonio to put Deanna in there, who's going to be a, hopefully anyway, the plan is, a better shield in front of the defence against the better team. So that's sort of the master plan that I have. Whether or not we can see Deanna there, whether or not that sort of plays out or not, time will tell. But he's still a decent passer of the ball, good technique, all that kind of stuff. But he should be a little bit of a stronger shield instead of Antonio, who is very good passer of the ball. He's a very Spanish midfielder, very good passer of the ball, maybe not the best defensively. And then I think what we'll do is we'll have a decision to make between Antonio and Jonsson, who we want to play next to Bakali in midfield. Tom Jones comes forward. Tom Jones keeps coming forward, lays it off to Depe. Other two fullbacks going to combine. Depe, full of the confidence from the Euro Dream Team, has a go, but it was never realistically going to go in. Here we go with Jonsson over a free kick. We haven't seen him score many, if any. Oh, there we go, though, a first of the season. A 25-yard free kick from Albert Jonsson. That makes it 4-0 after 33 minutes. And we can definitely at this point say, I believe that's a cracking free kick, isn't it? Round the wall, inside the post. You love to see those. Yeah, I think we can say that second leg will not be required viewing, as we might even get a fifth here before half-time. It's only about 2 minutes have passed in game. Tom Jones doesn't quite get to that first. He possibly should have. Mosquera. I think it's a little bit difficult to fully judge this team, obviously, against this sort of level of opposition. We won't really know until we come up against the better teams how we're sort of shaping up here. But I'm a little bit more confident. We definitely saw, I think, last season as Baltinson, I don't know, it didn't go in cleanly, but he's got his hat-trick, a perfect hat-trick as well, inside the first half. And, yeah, 5-0. Excellent work. Yeah, it'll be difficult to judge exactly how we go, or how we're going to do until we sort of get into the Champions League, assuming we get there. Goalkeeper got a hand to it, which is why it didn't look clean. So I'm more confident. We saw last season with wingers that we were definitely better. We had more of a threat, and I think we even looked a little bit better defensively, even though perhaps we didn't have as many defensive players back. It was another good ball for Baltinson from Icelandic. What can he do from here? He's not got much support. Icelandic's there now. Gets the ball back to the edge of the area. It's bouncing around, and Depe, that is a stunning goal. Matthias Depe does get his goal from left back, but just pinging it around the penalty area, and eventually we find the spare player. And this is Pep Guardiola football, isn't it? Look at that. Bakali lays it back. Depe takes a touch, and then just everything behind it. The net's done well to contain that. 6-0, and we're not quite at half-time yet. Bakali over a free kick. Now, of course, this time last season, in the first leg, we had a 9-0 win over the Armenian side, or the Armenian champions. Could we do even better than that here, perhaps? Icelandic does well. Is he going to get a cross in? Tom Jones has just wandered into a bit of space. Maybe into an offside position as well, though. Mosquera, there we go. We use Tom Jones now. He whips the cross in. Back post. It's a header. It's off the crossbar. And we look like we can score at will right now. It's just really big, if you've been with the channel for a while, really big Bala Town vibes where the rest of the league is just weak. So we're not progressing in Europe enough. So we get to these early qualifying rounds and we really do just walk through it, don't we? Let's say we don't want any complacency here, although in truth, you can be as complacent as you want. We're 7-0 up. Was it 6 or 7? I've lost count. So that tells you something. I'm almost out of fingers. 6-0. So if we can get 4 second-half goals, we will do better than we did last season. And I do think we are a better team than last season. I mean, which you'd hope so. Even though we haven't maybe signed that many players, the young players we do have are that, obviously a year further on in their development. Depe, nice ball for Higuain. Just over the top. I mean, Higuain is just a massive upgrade on anything we've had played left wing before. Tom Jones, I think, is a big upgrade at right back on any player we've had. Icelandic playing. even though we spent a lot of money to get another right winger in. He's done really well there. It's not quite found its way through to Bakali in the middle of the penalty area there. But second half is looking very much like the first half right now, isn't it? Although they do have a little bit of possession here. But yeah, this is what we look like sometimes when we're playing against the big teams, isn't it? We're just a little bit quicker to everything, a little bit stronger. And we just look like we've got to play it over, which we have there. And Scala gets his second of the season. A seventh for the game, for the team, that is. And another really, really nicely worked goal. Baltinson, you know what he does really well that I've noticed recently, and it's probably, again, he's only 18, so part of his development, is he holds the ball up really well. Better than Gadini, I think. Gadini is a very good goal scorer, but I don't know that he's as good at holding the ball up as we get out of Baltinson. I think at this point, Baltinson is first choice. Parisi with a chance now. What's the centre-back doing out there? Mosquera to Icelandic. Twists, turns. Oh, that is a little bit of class from, I can't remember Icelandi's first name, but it doesn't matter. It's a very, very, very good finish. Twisting and turning in the penalty area. And, I mean, truth be told, it's not the best defending. Look at the space he's been given here, but he turns away from two defenders and then bends an effort in. That's a really, really nice goal, isn't it? And it is now 8-0 as we get ready for perhaps a double-digit score. Cross comes in towards Iskala, who's on a hat-trick now, of course. So we've already got a Baltinson hat-trick. Iskala's on a hat-trick. Who else is on a hat-trick here? We could be setting some goal records. Iskala back to Baltinson, who has a fourth. And it is 9-0. We've got 35 minutes, probably with stoppage time, to get to double digits, and you certainly will back us to do so right now. A problem we may have with showing two first legs in the episode length. We could score 30 goals this episode. That's okay. I'm sure we don't mind watching the goals flow in. And of course, being the first leg, you do kind of have to put out the strongest team just in case, don't you? Second leg, obviously, we can rest things up a little bit. But here we go with Iskala to Bakali. It's blocked. And Bakali wins it back for us as well. Here we go. Higuain loses out. We could probably start to rest some players. Yeah, we don't need to risk people. Probably people on bookings are good players to take off, aren't they? Although, in truth, if they were to get a second booking and sent off here, it's not the worst thing because they'd just be suspended for the second leg. Baltinson's in again. Baltinson has 5 in a Champions League game. It's 10 in the match for Grindavik. And it actually might be a good time for some young players to get a chance if we have them on the bench. Tom Jones, it was a poor pass in truth, wasn't it? Intercepted it, found Baltinson, and, well, he doesn't miss those, does he? And it is 10, just after the hour mark. Is the Socceroos' great record in danger? It's not, probably not, because they got 30-odd, didn't they? All right, so let's take off Antonio. Let's get, where's Gislason? Let's get him on. We'll take off Jonsson and get Turpinson on. Give him some game time as Higuain is in again, straight across the face of goal. Where'd Turpinson go? There. God damn it. Turpinson. Who else is a youngster that we could give some game time to? We could get the young left back on. Sonny Jonsson. I'm not sure how many subs we get, but we'll just keep making subs till something changes, although we're past the point now where they'll get any development bonus, and that's off the crossbar. Now, what we don't want to do is concede a goal at the end here, because we do want to keep a clean sheet. 10-0 is a very nice round number. 10-1, you just wonder why you bothered, really, don't you? But there it is, 10-0, first leg of Europe, and that is a very good performance. 5 for Baltinson, 2 for Iskala, goals each for Parisi. Who else got on the score sheet there? Albert Jonsson. Depe got a goal, didn't he? It's just a very, very good performance from us. I think we do have to say, though, is don't get complacent. So there we go. Perfect 10 for Grindavik. Baltinson. Oh, he's pulled a hamstring. When did that happen? Okay, I mean, again, we should be okay to get by without him, but ideally he wouldn't keep getting injured because that's going to hurt his development. But anyway, hopefully he'll get a reputation of being injury prone, and other players, the team, won't come in for him. But wonderful stuff from Baltinson. I will see you for the first leg of the next round, assuming we don't get stuffed by 11. So wait right there. Okay, welcome back. Now, good news is that we have one of our two sulkers who are happy. Damien Allmarkson is now no longer looking to go to Saudi Arabia, so it's just Immonen that is left now. I don't want to waste too much time here. I'm a little bit conscious if we whack another 10 goals past our next opponent, which is Bate Borisov, I should say. So that's who we're going to be facing momentarily here. If we can see there, that's sort of the game pre-screen. Obviously, we won through it against Flora, but we have to check up on the scores. And the first game in the league, of course, to catch up on was against Valor. Immonen gave us a half-time lead. Bakali played in Nelum to double our lead. And then repeated the trick for our third moments later. Before Gadini added a fourth in stoppage time. So a good performance from us in this one. Dominated possession, dominated the chances. They didn't have a shot on target, and yeah, it was a good way to sort of rebound, I guess, from a good performance in Europe. Higuain, though, was injured in this one. He is going to miss the first leg today of this second leg of this second qualifying round, I should say. So that's disappointing, though. Hopefully, we'll manage without him. Next up, it was the second leg against Flora. Let's see if we can hit double digits again. Gisurison opened the scoring in style. Mashalek played in Nelum for our second. Before some nice play was finished by Nelum for his second. And Palacios made it 4-0 at half-time. Before Jefferson added a fifth in the second half. So yeah, they're not a very good team, are they? Again, absolute domination. We changed things up and it just didn't seem to make a difference. I mean, I guess you could say we were half as good. We missed a penalty as well with Nelum. I don't remember that happening, actually. I'm not sure that actually did happen. Anyway, oh no, anyway, it's there. So maybe he did miss a penalty. Still played a 10 though, of course. But yeah, very, very happy with that. Next up in the league, it was against relegation fighting IBV. We were 1-0 down at half-time. Before Johansson crossed for Gadini to get us level. So this was one of those games. I've got to say, I watched the replay several times. I'm still not convinced Gadini was onside for the equaliser, but we'll take it. We gave Pedersen a game up front. He didn't take that chance. We hit the woodwork 3 times. Nelum, I think, absolutely smacked the crossbar a couple of times. It was, as I said, one of those games that it felt like we were going to lose, to be honest. You can see XG, other than the goal that they scored, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, yeah, it was one of those. League table. Again, we've dropped a lot of points this year, by our own standards, but we are still 3 points clear of FH. So we're going to have a big game against them at some point. 4 points clear of Folgner with a game in hand, and Fram are still up there with Vikinger as well. So, yeah, it's very tight behind us. It should be fine. Famous last words. It should be fine, though, but... yeah, we're making a little bit of hard work of it this season. But anyway, let's go face Bate Borisov. And we're expecting a 4-2-3-1 out of them. And the team that we're sending out is as follows. Rafferson in goal, Depe, Parisi, Mosquera and Jones. Antonio, Jonsson, Jonsson and Bakali. Iskala, Nelum comes in to play down that left-hand side for us in this one. You can see he's not really match fit at all, is he? Let's go with Jefferson then. Gadini will be the man up front. And Immonen there's a few tired guys on the bench, so let's not put Immonen on there if he's tired. Let's go with Hadartson. Where are you there? Mortenson's on the bench, so he'll be our main man if we do need to go to that. And yeah, everybody else there will just go. Baltinson's not quite back yet either, which is a bit disappointing. We're a little thin up front here, aren't we? Let's hope we don't get a Gadini injury. All right, so we can see the team sheets there. Now, there is quite a few of their players that aren't grayed out. I think the length of their bench would back that up, wouldn't it? What do we say here? I think we do play them back-to-back here. There is no league game in between. Let's put on a show. That worked well for us, didn't it, against... Who do we play? Have we played Flora? So let's hope for a similar result here. All right, and here we go. And this is, I think, if we win this one, we start to get to the point where we're guaranteeing ourselves league phase football. I know a lot of you in the comments and on Discord have said that they're playing a bit different than we were expecting. It'll be interesting to see how far we went in the Europa League. And, I mean, in order to get to the Europa League, we need to get knocked out, obviously, in qualifying of the Champions League. I have a hard time wanting to do that. It's one of those things, I think if it happened, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But equally, we've got a bit of a kick clash here, it looks like, too, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I just have a hard time wanting to lose a game. And the other thing too is that I know that we don't necessarily need the money, but the only reason, for example, I was only able to give who are they, Breeder Blink, $500,000 for their rubbish centre back was because we have money in the bank. So getting that Champions League money, we almost need it to be able to, not the best, it's gone through everybody, that cross. It enables us to then be able to massively overpay the more money we have. Oh, Gadini, how has that stayed out? He's offside anyway. Actually, no, Icelandic was offside. So even though, as I say, we don't necessarily need the money for the Champions League, although without it, I would be a little bit scared watching the bank balance just fall through the floor. It does help us be able to overpay and try and get the rest of the league up to sort of professional levels and competing in Europe themselves. So from that point of view, and it seems strange to want the other teams in the league to do well, but we need them. We need them to be doing well in Europe so that the quality of the league goes up. So, instead of being a 2.5-star reputation league, Jonsson trying to bend one in. So instead of being a 2.5-star league, we maybe become, as Gadini knocks one off the wall, become, say, a 3.5-star league. That makes us a better attractive league, not just for us as well as other teams, obviously. And yes, it will make the league more competitive, and maybe we do lose a few more games. Maybe we do have a bit of a scare winning the league one year, but ultimately it does help us, because we'll have better opposition, so we'll get a better idea of how good a player is instead of waiting to having to throw them into a game like this and hope that they can go up to it. As this has been a long old highlight, can we get a little bit of quality into the box here now? Tommy Jones gets forward. There's the ball in. Gadini! He is just so good. He's actually had a couple of bids from Lazio coming in for him now, and there's a risk of him becoming unhappy at that. He's a team leader, so I was able to tell him that he is seen as a team leader and we don't want to lose him, and he was happy with that. So hopefully that'll mean he will stick around for a little bit longer. But he definitely is a proven goal scorer in Europe. And we're getting similar bids coming in for Baltinson as well. I think every Italian team, both the Milan teams, Juventus have all come in for him, Napoli. So there's a lot of interest in our better players. Scala is in, and I think Gadini popped it off. If you're not going to pass to me, Gadini said, then you're not going to score. I'm fairly confident that Gadini has cleared that off the line himself. Bakali with a corner. Oh, what a bullet! You need a license for that header, mate. That was an absolute rocket into the back of the net from Parisi. And it is 2-0, 20 minutes gone. And, it's not going to quite be as... That's a bullet header, isn't it? What a header from Parisi. It's not going to quite be a Tallinn massacre, but it certainly has the feelings of a game that is going to go our way. But at 2-0, of course, still a lot of work to do. Next goal could be very important. Gadini to Jofferson. Oh, the youngster has tripped over it almost, it looked like. Gadini tries to clean up his mess. Ball forward. Mosquera is there. And we have possession back. One thing we do well, isn't it, is keep possession, as Scala can't quite thread a ball in, as Antonio tries to win it back, and we're putting good pressure on them here, but they've still got possession. Tom Jones has tracked a long way out of his position there, and Rafferson will say that he sees it wide. They do have that front three there. It might be a little bit difficult for us. Let's try another praise. And like I say, if we can get to 3-0, 3-0's a comfortable lead to go away with, I would have thought. Anything more than that, and I think you're getting to the point where we don't need to show the second leg. I mean, even 3-0's arguably a bit too comfortable, but the ball forward, it's all right. It's easy for Rafferson. You may have noticed I did give is it Hafaldarson, the backup goalkeeper, the game in the second leg, just to try and help him develop. Gadini gets past one. Gadini's in. Gadini scores because that's what he does. It's a 16th goal of the season. And we're just in such a good place up front, aren't we? If Baltinson's injured, I mean, we almost consider Gadini a backup at this point. And he's got 16 goals himself. He is just... Gadini and Baltinson could take this club a long way. They've already taken the club a long way. But if we can hang on to them, Gadini, of course, has recently signed a long-term contract to stay with us. And he's one of those guys, I think, even though maybe attribute-wise, we want to say don't get complacent here, don't we? Even though attribute-wise he may not look as good as some other players, he's been here forever. He fits the club. He knows what he's doing. And... I just couldn't imagine playing without him, to be honest. And he's a partnership with Bakali as well. Ball in. Speaking of Bakali, Gadini's got himself a hat-trick. And he doesn't always get the goals from the corners. And he's got one there, though, doesn't he? And that is a hat-trick. Is it a perfect hat-trick, I wonder? It's a cracking header. Another good header. Our Italians, Gadini and Parisi, just dominant in the air. Another corner. If this goes in, I think we can wave goodbye to the second leg as a contest. And that was Antonio, was it? I didn't think he could jump. Can he jump? Oh, he's got decent jumping reach. Fair enough. You can see what I mean, though, about Jose Antonio. He's technically... I mean, he's good. He's still... No, that's Johnson. What do we want here? Antonio. Yeah, technically, Antonio is not the greatest. You wouldn't get rid of him. You can see he's still a very good player. 2.5 million is what I've set his price at. There are some teams bidding for him, but we're not getting up to that amount yet. Jofferson, I should say. It's across there for Albert Jonsson, and 5-0. Job done. On to the next round. Now we have actually got the draw. They've done the draw for the next round, and it's AEK Athens that we'll be facing. So it's looking as though next episode it'll be AEK Athens. I imagine we might need 2 legs to be shown to beat them. I think we'll be at home for the first leg. Iskala is looking a little tired. Let's get Toure on, since we're paying him so much to be back up, as it turns out, to a player we already had. So yeah, we'll see how we go against the Greeks. But 5-0, half as good as Flora, but still very, very good indeed. As I say, I don't see a need to show the second leg of that, because we should be able to see that out comfortably. Considering, we saw out the game against Flora with what was essentially a second 11, so we should have no problems dealing with this team. If we put out a bit of a stronger side, I can give you £500-600 a week. Yep, that's not a problem, mate. We can do that. He's looking quite good whenever he plays. I'm going to try and get him as longer term as possible here, though. Try and get the bonuses in, and yeah, as longer term as we can. Come on, mate. Because he's an academy player as well, so that's why we want to try and do this. 4 years, we'll take it. Excellent work. So there we go, guys. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up. Hopefully the episode's not been too long, but we'll be back next time. As I say, there's no need to show the second leg at a neutral venue. Interesting. Is that because they're Belarusian? Maybe they're not playing in Belarus. So yeah, we're playing in Norway, so it is actually a neutral venue, so that should make it even. It's an away game for them as well. It's even. Would it be closer to Iceland? No, it's probably still closer to the Belarus, isn't it? But either way, that's beside the point. We'll come back to face what should be AEK Athens somewhere in here, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Take care.